You just have to be willing to put yourself out there. And once you do, the magic will begin to happen. I'm happy to use my life as an example so that others can learn. You may have to let some things go before you become successful. Success looks different on everybody, and so does the process. Some of you want success but don't want to let go of the exact thing that's in your way of obtaining success. You can't have it both ways. Welcome to Living Your Truth with Tavares. Wow, thank you. I am living in my blessing. Thank you so much. This is great. Wow. Welcome back to the show. This is Living Your Truth with Tavares. How y'all doing? I am him. But first, what's up to everybody up top? What's up to everybody in the middle? And what's up to everybody down here around me? Now, hope everyone's doing well. Welcome back to another great episode of Living Your Truth with Tavares. Today, we're going to be talking about who are you really? Like, who are you? Are you the title you possess at work? Are you who you are in the morning throughout the entire day? I mean, like, who are you really? A question I have asked myself many, many times. You may or may not have asked yourself this question. I often ask myself the question because I like to challenge myself. I like to see what I've learned new about myself, right? It's a great way for me to check in. So I like to check in. So you are not just your title or role. We both know a lot of people. We all know a lot of people who think that they are their role. They think they are their title. Nothing wrong with it. Doesn't make you right. Doesn't make you wrong. Doesn't make you good. Doesn't make you bad. We are just having a conversation about who are you really? Too often we define ourselves by what we do, our jobs, status, or achievements. But who are you really? When all that is stripped away, who are you? Identity goes deeper than occupation or obligation. See, I'm many things, many things. On any given day, I could be a son, an uncle, a father, a husband, a nephew, a grandson. So, for me, who I am, well, I am a plethora of versions of Tavares Allen Garrett. Some of them are warmer than the others. Some of them are more kinder than the other, sweeter than the next. And then some of them aren't. See, I believe the multiple versions that we have of ourselves are necessary, not so much to like fake people out or, pull the 42 fake or the funky Watusi, right? But many of us can get comfortable in a specific version because we think that specific version serves us best. But who are you really? You know who your parents are, you know where you've came from, but many people like to believe that where they are right now standing is who they are. So if it's the bus driver, if it's the banker, if it's the professional athlete, that's what they believe. See, I choose to be a little bit more mindful of that because I know I'm not the role I'm in. I know I'm not the title I have. I know that. Even though the world around me always says otherwise. That's what they say. But I believe in titles and names, those are just descriptions. They're just micro descriptions, right? Right. Your identity is a journey, not a destination. I mentioned this earlier when I talked about the plethora of versions of who I am. And that's how I see it, just like that. Your identity is a journey, not a destination. Who you are is constantly evolving. I talk about this all the time. You're not stuck in who you were yesterday. Growth, change, and experience are all part of discovering your real self. And I love that. Like, it's like a treasure hunt, except I'm the treasure. And I get to go off on this adventure to get to know who I am. That's pretty dope. We will dig more into this when we get right back to Living Your Truth with Tavares. Talk to you soon. Today's segment is brought to you by The Body Synthesis, where we mitigate health risks through preventative medicine coaching. Check out thebodysynthesis.com. Welcome back to the show. This is Living Your Truth with Tavares. How y'all doing? Today we're talking about who are you really? Have y'all ever asked yourself that question? When was the last time you asked yourself that question? I know for me, it was just earlier today because I like to check in with myself like that. I mentioned this in the last segment. Very important for me to check in with myself because I can get complacent and I could just allow my brain and my mind to just wander. That's why I must stay busy. It's very important. I must stay busy. Before we went to break, I talked about your identity is a journey, not a destination. Many of us feel that it is a destination. But the rub is we're never done evolving. Our brain gets better as we age, and we get a chance to live a life that has no resemblance of what it used to have, right? And that's the beauty about evolution because everything changes daily, right? It's just so that we notice things, more so after a week or two, right? Even we as the human species, we change daily. But some of us recognize those changes and some of us don't, simply because we're not looking for them. We're not into it like that. After a month, yeah, look back at some old photos, be like, oh my God, I was this, I was that. So I get that. Moving on. You are a sum of your you are a sum of your core values. I've heard that so many times before. I know some of you guys have heard that as well. Sorry for me stumbling. I'm human like you. Let's say that again. You are a sum of your core values. Your true identity is reflected in your values, the principles you live by when no one's watching. What do you stand for? What would you fight for or walk away from? There's many things I would fight for. There's many things I would walk away from. I understand that's who I am sometimes, not all the time. But I do work on that and I'm very mindful of that because I believe that there are parts of me that are necessary for, certain situations. Now, I got to be mindful of when I'm feeding those versions of myself because we don't want them to, you know, make an uninvited appearance. We can say that. Okay. You are a sum of your core values. You are the stories you tell yourself as well. What do you tell yourself about yourself? Do you talk negative to yourself about yourself? Do you talk positive about yourself to yourself? Do you use Tavares' famous mirror talk to pick yourself up if you're in a bad mood, perhaps a low level vibration? Like, what do you do for that? It's very important that we have something, right? We have something because we are the stories that we tell ourselves. Self perception shapes identity, okay? The inner dialogue, your narrative, can either empower or imprison you. Who do you say you are? Me? Who do I say I am? Oh, man. I'm a health educator and transformation coach. I'm a father. I'm a brother. I'm a grandfather. I'm a husband. I am light. I'm resilience in its purest form. I'm loving, kind, outgoing, um, courageous, relentless, and yeah, a servant leader. Yeah, all right. There's a few for you. There's a few, just a few, just a few. Want to encourage anybody else out there doing a damn thing to let them know, hey, who are you? It's okay if you don't know who you are because the journey on getting to know you is going to forever change. And that is where you'll find the gems. That is where you're going to understand who, why, where, and what you are to do with who you are. This is Living Your Truth with Tavares. That's me. We will be right back. I got time. Welcome back to the show. This is Living Your Truth with Tavares. How y'all doing today? We're talking about Who are you really? Like, who are you? Do you know who you are? I'm still figuring out who I am, but the fun is in participating and getting to know who you are. Because in that point or in that space, you get to understand the good and the bad points of who you are. You get to understand what makes you tick, what turns you on or off, all of which is going to be very valuable information. And it's not so that you know these things so you can share them with a potential partner or mate, though that's cool too. But it's really about understanding who we are so that when we go out into the world or when we go to hang out with people, we know what kind of circles we should be in. That's if you care about being in circles. Perhaps the world is your oyster. And if the world is your oyster, well, then, hey, have a good time in that oyster. You are not your trauma. You are not your trauma. Okay. I've been there. So I get it. And I've been doing the work and I will continue to do the work. But I know that I am not my trauma. While pain shapes us, it does not define us. Healing begins when we acknowledge it. We acknowledge what we've endured, but also affirm that we are more than our wounds. The wounds serve as a reminder, and that reminder could be of survival. I know many people who have wounds of survival, and they wear them proudly. Now, they haven't always wear them that way or wore them that way. However, they do now. That's because life has evolved. They continuously show up to themselves and put in the work to reimagine their narrative, at least with regards to said specific situation. So that's where the beauty is, right? Like, in getting to know who we are, because that is going to change. And that's exciting about, at least I think it's exciting because, you know, getting to know me and then me changing and then knowing that I'm going to change in, like, say, a couple of months. Mm-hmm. That's exciting for sure. To know at the end of 2025, I'm going to be a different person than I am at this exact moment. That's exciting. To know at the end of 2026, it's going to be a whole other Tavares for sure. And so that's exciting. So who am I really? I mean, am I just a little bit of a version of myself for like a little bit of time? Because that's what it seems like to me. It even seems like in 24 hours, by the end of that 24th hour, I'm not even the person I was in the first hour. Exciting, right? Right. So this is why we step into ourselves. This is why we lean in, right? This is why we put in the work. This is why we're patient with ourselves. This is why we go meditate. This is why we go sit down at the park and look at the trees or just feel the wind blow. Because evolution is happening. And this is why they say, make sure you stop and smell the roses. Life moves fast if you don't stop and look around every now and again. Shout out Ferris Bueller. I didn't quote it exactly, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Look, we all can take the time to make time to get to know ourselves a little better. I'm going to pay some bills. We'll be right back. This is Living Your Truth with Tavares. Today's show is brought to you by Tag Management, photography, videography, photo booths, and drone. Book them for your next event and visit www.tagmgmt.net. Welcome back to the show. This is Living Your Truth with Tavares. How y'all doing today? Another great one, y'all. We're talking about who are you really? Who are ya? Do you know who you are? I'm still working on me too. So don't feel alone and don't feel called out. It's totally okay. In fact, I'd rather you be on this journey of self-discovery than not at all. Okay? All right, let's keep it going. So, who are you really? And in this case, who am I really? As I mentioned earlier, I'm constantly in a space where I'm looking to discover more about myself because, well, I feel the more I get to do that, the better I get to know who I am and the better I can be for other, those who come around my orbit, right? Right. Think it's a good look, great look. You are a product of both nature and nurture. but not a prisoner to either. Woo! Love that. I'm going to say it again in case you missed it, or in case you just walked in the room. You are a product of both nature and nurture, but not a prisoner to either. Your background, environment, and genetics influence you, but they don't determine your future. You have the power to rewrite the script. And you should know that. See, the coolest thing I think about living life, we can change our lives. We could change it. We could change it. For me, I'm a visual person. So I put on my visioneering hat. I'm trademarking that, by the way. I put on my visioneering hat so I can see whatever it is. If it's an event, if I'm being asked to go somewhere, whatever it is, right? And so it's important that I work that way for me because that's what works best for me. And in doing that, that helps me to rewrite my script because first, for me, I have to see what's going on. After that, you know, I observe, I check it out, I weigh my options, and then I proceed. There's no rush in getting to know who you are because the reality is time is going to unfold the way that it is. So strap in and enjoy the ride because it's going to be a long one. It should be a fun one, exciting one, right? It should be an enlightening one. Because as we age and as we get to know who we are, remember, getting to know who we are is a bit fluid because we're changing so much. So if we're changing physically, we're changing emotionally, and perhaps we're changing mentally, right? Right. So this is why we lean in. This is why we show up to ourselves. This is why we move with a tremendous amount of transparency, especially for the self, because you really can't BS yourself. I mean, really, what's the point, right? Right. There's no point. So, in getting to know who you are, you also have an opportunity to rewrite the way you approach issues, problems, whether they be external, internal, are they with friends, colleagues, coworkers, etc. So I encourage you to take that opportunity. I encourage you when that moment comes about or that opportunity comes about, take a moment with it. Be intentional about getting to know who you are. No one's going to give you a side eye or no one's going to just, be rude to you because you're working on you. I've yet to hear somebody be mad at somebody who's working on them. However, some people can misunderstand it. They can misinterpret it for sure. But remember, it's not your job to clarify how you feel to anyone unless you want to. So, while I'm over here trying to figure out who I am really, I hope you're enjoying the show because we will be right back. This is Living Your Truth with Tavares. Play me on the beat. Welcome back to the show. This is Living Your Truth with Tavares. How y'all doing? We have been discussing who are you really? I like this. I like this right here a lot. I like all the episodes. You guys know that. But who are you really? Are you your title? Are you your role? I mean, because you are what you tell yourself you are. All right? You are what you consistently you are what you consistently choose as well. Having a tough time talking today, but as they say in show business, the show must go on. Because I choose that, right? I choose that the show must go on. As I was saying, you are what you consistently choose. Identity is formed through habits and decisions. What you repeatedly choose becomes a reflection of who you really are. Yeah, let that soak in for a second. Got chills on that one. There was a time where, the version I was, had I heard that, I probably would have, well, I would have been higher in my mind, but it still would have probably hit pretty hard because, I mean, that's pretty powerful, right? What you repeatedly choose becomes a reflection of who you really are, what you repeatedly choose. So when I was doing my thing, partying, drinking, and drugging, and if I think about that, what I just read back then, man, I wouldn't have believed it. But the reality is that I was drug addict, drunk, however, alcohol abuser, drug, but however you want to package it, okay? The reality was, yeah, because I kept choosing the alcohol, I kept choosing the drugs, right? I kept choosing that lifestyle. So that's who I was becoming. And the trip is, if I look back at those times, I can clearly see even the surroundings I was putting myself in, the places I was going. I had no business being in some of the places I was in, right? Some of the neighborhoods. Like, what am I doing driving that far to pick up something? Like, it was just crazy when I think about it. But that is what I was a part of. And now I'm here. And that's because, to me, it's because I never stopped moving. Even though I went through my tough times, even though I went through those mountains, I went through those peaks, I went through those valleys, even though I went through all of that, I still had a vision of how I saw myself. I just never saw all the other stuff that was going to come along with it, right? I never saw the drugs, never saw the alcohol, never saw, these random people that I was, running around with. And so it took a while. It took a long time. But the cool thing is, like I said earlier, I never stopped moving. I kept going because it was the vision that I had of myself. So when it came to me asking myself, who are you really, Tavares? You over here partying, you over here powdering your nose, you over here doing this and doing that. But who are you really? And that thought for me, that vision, the visual of me in the future, successful and just looking the way I view success, that is what kept me going. That's all I could say about it. Even when I was hanging out with people who I probably knew I shouldn't be around because, they had things going on in their life that could easily impact my life, I didn't really care because I was having fun, air quotes, you can't see them, but I was having fun until I wasn't. So who are you really? Because I know in some of the ugliest moments of my life, I had to be a version of myself that was in the future. And I love that because that tells me I'm on the right path. Even if it looks like you're not on the right path, stay with your vision. Stay believing in yourself. Do not fold. Do not let anyone tell you that you're crazy, that you're stupid. Don't let anybody tell you that. You believe in you. This is Living Your Truth with Tavares. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. This is Living Your Truth with Tavares. This has been a great one today, y'all. So, who are you really? Do you know? And if you don't, that's okay. Because that in itself, well, that's where the journey gets good. I want all of you that are listening, all 220,000 something plus all around the world. I want all of you guys and ladies and children with their parents' permission to listen to the show to be your better selves. Not the best. The best is too much pressure. Go for better. You know why? The next day, there's always room to get better. And if you just aim to be 1% better each day, well, by the end of the week, guess what? You'll be 7% better. Yeah. Great way to look at it, isn't it? See, we don't need our eyes to be bigger than our stomachs. We can take it in bite sizes. Being patient with yourself is key to unlocking who you are really. And the cool thing is, enjoy the rabbit hole because it's going to go on for as long as you are breathing, my friend. And that's the reality. You're dynamic. The human being species is dynamic. We are not meant to be sedentary. So I say, spread your wings and fly. Enjoy it too. Enjoy getting to know you. Enjoy getting to know what you do and what you don't like, what turns you off or on. Right? Right. Because honestly, before you go look for a partner, before you can ask a partner to love you, spend time with you, or be affectionate with you, well, spoiler alert, you have to be that for yourself. Ding, ding, ding. Survey says, number one answer. You have to be that for yourself. Not because I say so, but because you want to have a happier, more balanced life. And what better way to do that and to start that than getting to know who you really are? If you want to hello, if you want to hit us up or send us an email, we are at Living Your Truth Podcast on Gmail at gmail.com. I'm having a great day today. Sorry. Once again, if you want to email us, say hello. We are at livingyourtruth at gmail.com. If you're on Facebook, Twitter, or TikTok, we are at Living Your Truth Podcast. If you're on X, we are at the word living, Livin, the letter U, the letter R, and the word truth. Living Your Truth on X. And then, of course, thank you. Thank you all for tuning in every single week. Sorry I got this episode out a little late, but I'm here. I'm here. The show must go on. And I'll get better about that too. Look, I'm not going to give you any excuses because simply put, I should have been on top of that. And I thank you for still listening. And I thank you for being flexible with me. I absolutely appreciate all of you. Life is a journey, okay? Gotta have fun. Can't take ourselves too serious. None of us get out of here alive anyway. I like that one. It gets me every time. Okay. You are capable of reinvention. At any moment, you have the right to redefine yourself. Your past does not disqualify your future. The version of you desire is within reach. Until the next time, love yourself, love each other, and live your truth. Peace.